Hey y'all. Happy Sunday. Hello, Carrie. Thank you for being here. Pointer lover, welcome in. So I hope everybody's having a good Sunday. Hello, Andy Rose. So I'm sure that by now it's 15 to 4 my time, standard Eastern time here in Florida. You guys have either heard or seen the shit show that took place last night. I apologize ahead of time for any adult language that may be used during this live. I'm on StreamYard on the phone, so I can't comment in chat, but I will definitely comment to you guys. So I titled the live Pitchforks, Flaming Torches, because that seems like what we have going on here in the YouTube streets. I was smoking a cigarette. I'll be on camera in just a minute. I appreciate you guys for coming in. So I'm going to start out with, I preach this from the rooftops. Those of y'all that are here on the channel that are, either new to the channel, I will explain. If you're not new to the channel, then you already know. These missing person cases are about the missing person. They are not a pissing match between creators, and it shouldn't be a pissing match between families. But sometimes it does turn into that. The way that last night went on Web Sleuths, I'm going to be totally honest. I'm disappointed and heartbroken. Absolutely disappointed and heartbroken. I've had nothing but the utmost respect for Trisha, insightful one, and how the channels run over there. They normally do a lot of good and put out a lot of good information. However, last night I feel like that was a witch hunt, if you will. A lot of people are expressing their opinions about the private detectives not being so private, and opinions about private detectives not putting out publicly that they're working on cases. That's a case-by-case basis. And my understanding how Chloe got involved was she was in Nashville searching for Riley actively, took it upon herself to go to Hendersonville after Riley was found and help search for Sebastian. I want to say she took a couple of days off either after she got there or right before she went. And I'll have to go in and drop the link. If anybody wants to come up, just let me know and I'll jump inside and I'll drop the link real quick. Or I might be able to do it from YouTube. Either way, we'll figure it out. If anybody wants to come up, just let me know. So I've said from the beginning, I don't take sides in missing cases. I don't take anybody's side. And I'm going to use a case that I worked on myself personally and still actively speak with the family. And that's Michaela Standard's case. Anybody that saw, hi Arctic, welcome in, love. Anybody that saw the videos that I did on her, I made phone calls to detectives. I made phone calls to the sheriff. I emailed the sheriff. I begged them for 2 weeks to put some kind of information out that Michaela was missing in their area. A bunch of Facebook drama broke out. And there was, sorry guys, that a hawk just landed in the yard and the littles are out. So I'm just making sure she's not trying to do anything stupid to my dog. So Carly must be asleep. She didn't even notice the hawk being there. Anyway, sidetracked y'all. So you had the aunt that came out, was actively searching. Yeah, she noticed it. It flew though, so we're good. So yeah, the aunt that came out, spoke to the news, was actively searching. Some other family was actively searching. And her mom and some other family members were not happy about the flyers that I had made. They weren't happy about, and Michaela didn't have a flyer at all, by the way, when I made her flyer. Did not, didn't go well. And I reached out to both sides of the family to give everybody a chance to come up on panel and speak and you know, give their life experience and how, what kind of person that Michaela is and who she is. And emotions run high in these cases. So I had Marty up on panel. The live's still up. I don't take lives down. The live's still up, and things were said that caused a bunch of background drama. You know, family members messaging me and requesting posts be taken down and this be taken down and that be taken down. And, you know, I understand all that. Arctic says, I follow the facts that Ellie puts out wherever they may take me. One Shot, welcome in, says, hello, Minded Monsters. I found you on Doggo. I enjoyed your input. I'm only wanting Sebastian to be found. It seems like all three parents are muddying the waters, especially Seth, in my opinion. Arctic saying hello. So this is not a bashing on Seth. So anybody that's either in chat or lurking in the bushes, I am not bashing Seth by any means. But I am going to say this. There are things that have been put out that are nobody's damn business. It is nobody's business whether or not he has to wear a pull-up or utilize underwear. It is nobody's business of his personal trauma that he went through. That should have never been put out. I understand having a GoFundMe if you are needing to raise funds for private investigators, if you're not getting any kind of coverage, if you're not getting any kind of help. But there were groups of people that went and searched for this child. You had PIs that took their own, on their own accord, that went up there to help search. I understand not working. Like, I get all of that. I do. I get all of that. GoFundMes are toxic most of the time, especially in missing persons cases. They're absolutely toxic. Because if one family member comes out and does an interview and another family member comes out and does an interview, and I've seen this in chats on Sebastian's case already, how do I get a refund? Okay. How do you get a refund? Well, did you donate to that GoFundMe because you wanted to help find a missing child? Or did you donate to that GoFundMe because you had a mob or mod, and I'm well aware of the word that I used, mentality? You know, Chris and Katie were the first to come out and talk about Sebastian. And want to make sure I'm not missing anybody. Hi, Grey Pearl, welcome in. Chemistry Queen, welcome in. NCTC, welcome in. Steve's in here. I wasn't trying to bash Seth. It has turned into more of a fan club for him, and people are tuning into both sides. That's what no, you're fine. You don't have to be sorry for what you said. I'm just saying, myself personally, my chat is welcome to have any opinion you are welcome to your opinion as long as it's respectful. So it wasn't a shot at you, one shot, and no pun intended. That was myself personally. I don't want people to think that I'm bashing Seth or I'm personally going after Seth. By no means, because I've said this before. I'm not Team Seth and I'm not Team Chris and Katie. I'm Team Sebastian. I'm there for Sebastian. That's why I share his face. That's why I share his name. I did not come in on this case on YouTube right off rip. I was on Twitter Spaces with Vern talking about Sebastian and our overall Sunday. If it was, I can take it. No, honey, it wasn't a shot. I'm just covering myself. Like most of the people that are here know that I'm not. I don't bash families. That's not. I don't want anything I say to be taken as I'm bashing Seth, because I don't agree with the comments about the pull-ups. I don't agree with what happened to him in California. His tragic event being put out. I believe that that was a very ugly thing for him to do. A very ugly thing for him to do. And it was unnecessary, because Sebastian's personal trauma is not going to help bring him home. It's not going to help bring him home at all whatsoever. So on the other side of things, you have people that are got their pitchforks and their flaming torches out going after Chris and Katie, because Chris is a narcissist. And I don't believe that one at all. I was married to a narcissist, so that word gets thrown around like mixed potatoes. And Katie was her body language. Come on. If you have a missing child, your body language is going to be all over the place. You know why? Because your brain is all over the place. You're running on no sleep, no eating. You're emotionally completely drained. Already said I've side-eyed all three of the so-called adults, and at various points I still feel that none of them are responsible. No, I don't either. Just shake my head. I hate drama, especially the negative stuff. It doesn't help. No, it doesn't help. It doesn't help at all. It's not helping anything. All it's helping is fuel the flaming torches against the parents, and that's all three parents. I do a lot in the background. Like when Chloe first went up there to start working with Sebastian's case, I reached out to search teams that are my private contacts and got those contacts in communication with Chloe, under the understanding that she was going up there to search for Sebastian and be on Team Sebastian. I understand if you have communication with one parent and not with the other two parents, but my personal opinion is if you're a PI on a missing persons case, you should be a PI on the missing persons case, not be biased and set to one parent. Another thing that's being talked about is the fact that law enforcement's not releasing any information. Welcome in, Vicki Harrison. I appreciate you. This is kind of a pop-up live, guys. I think the more I sat and thought about this, the madder I got. But you should be there for the missing person and not pick sides. And if you attempt to communicate with the parents of a missing person, missing child, or a missing adult, the family of a missing adult that has been on YouTube, you better believe that their inboxes, their private messenger, all that is blowing up, because everybody wants that interview. Everybody wants that inside information. And I understand that it's human nature to want to be that way and to want to have that inside information. But if it's not been released by law enforcement, it's none of your damn business. Because the information that's released by law enforcement is vetted, and that information is set out to bring awareness to the facts of the case. So what we've seen, I don't smoke on camera, guys. So SRB, welcome in, honey. I'm going to pop my camera off. So like I said, the information that was put out is nobody's damn business. Something else I have an issue with is people stalking and driving back and forth in front of their house. And I'm talking about drive by the house, turn around, come back, drive by the house, turn around, come back, turn your camera, drive by the house, turn around, come back, turn around, come back, turn around, come back. Okay, as a woman, I don't know Katie's raising, I don't know her background. So I'm going to speak for myself personally. Myself personally, I see you driving back and forth in front of my house. There's about a 99.9% chance that the first time I come out, I'm going to ask you, can I help you? If I continuously see you driving back and front and forth of my house, the second time I come out, my little friend's probably going to be out there with me. And my 120, 130-pound dog is going to be with me. And then we're going to find out together why the hell you're driving in front of my house. What the hell did you lose in my front yard? Saying hello to everybody. I believe you speak for many. I feel the same. Thank you, Carrie. We need Steve Fisher. I trust him more than any PIs with the exception of Jason Jensen. Absolutely. I wish Steve would. I wish Steve would get on this case. I really do. I honestly wish Steve would have actively been working Sebastian's case. I know, I talk to Steve a lot, almost, if not daily, every few days. I talk to Steve, and I know Steve has a lot going on. He's been going through some SAR training, and he's working with other cases. And plus, you got to think that Steve's based out of California, so he's got a lot going on out there too. But I really wish like hell he had been the PI that got on Sebastian's case, because I honestly feel like we would see a hell of a lot more move than we would see that we're seeing now. I think we would see a hell of a lot more movement than what we're seeing now, in a positive light, and not in a no, they shouldn't be. Funny this is, I'm pretty sure Clue, Duchess know a lot. They have both been responsible and respectful, and I'm dying to know what they know, but I also understand it's inappropriate. I'm sure Clue and Dutchie know a lot. I know Duchess speaks to Katie on a daily basis. I've not been actively involved with the family. I've went through resources and contacts to get a hold of the family for the questions that I had when we were trying to get billboards up. Myself and Vern, which mainly Vern, was trying to get billboards up for Sebastian and find locations to put those billboards up where might be good locations, because a 15-year-old child, we don't know if he was abducted by a stranger, if he was taken by someone he knows, if it was family. We don't know at this point, because we don't know any of the damn details. We only know what's been put out by law enforcement, and that's not very much. Do I feel like law enforcement knows more than what they're releasing? Absolutely. I absolutely believe that they know more than what they're releasing. And everybody jumping on the bandwagon, there's no footage of him. You don't know for sure there's no footage of him, because law enforcement doesn't have to be fully transparent with the public. There's no law that says law enforcement has to tell YouTube or Twitter or the mainstream media what they have in a missing case. There's nothing that says that they have to do that, because it's none of our business. And the comments that was made last night about, well, you asked the public to help. So I'm going to be the first one to say, yes, absolutely. The public is a great resource for helping finding missing people. You know why? Because we're spread out everywhere. But as the public, our responsibility is to share his name, share his face, share his flyer. If you see him, call law enforcement. If you are not in Hendersonville, Tennessee, Nashville, Tennessee, the surrounding counties, call 911. Tell them you have seen Sebastian Rogers. They will get you to the correct law enforcement that you need to speak to. Accusations and rumors. I call it the speculation nation, because you have about 5 channels, just off the top of my head, that are known for stirring the shit pot. Gray Pearl said, I wish smaller channels like this one, Arctic Doodle and Duchess, got more attention. Doing good. I just found y'all because of Doggo. I've been in true crime for over a decade. Well, thank you. Thank you so much, Gray Pearl. I appreciate that. Gen X Granny, hello. Welcome in, love. True, none of us have been deputized. Absolutely. Southern Gal, welcome in. Hello, Lighting the Way Home. Welcome in, love. PJ. Everybody's saying hi. Thank you, Arctic. So you guys, I've made it clear how I feel about psychics and spirit boxes and all this other shenanigans. You know, everybody to their own beliefs, but you have people that grab a hold of that and they run half a mile down the road with it, and they're like, oh, well, I heard on this psychics channel that ex YouTuber is working with, that he should go search in this area, or she should go search in this area because of psychic in a whole ass different country, mind you. Said that that's where he's going to be found. Horseshit. The spirit box sessions are disgusting. Do you not think that these parents watch YouTube? That these family members are watching YouTube? Put yourself in that parent or that family member's shoes. Your 15-year-old child's missing. Do you want to see your kids hashtag, and I've said this before, hashtags last forever. Do you want to see your missing child's name in a hashtag on a title on a YouTube video with some jackass that's running a spirit box session? And I heard him come through. It absolutely infuriates me. Absolutely infuriates me. And then you have channels that were teeny little channels. They were teeny little channels that explode overnight because they have some person call in. And I have a Google phone number. I've never used it on a live yet, which I may do that. They call into these channels and put out their opinion as fact. Well, somebody in chat hears it and they run around to 10 other chats. Well, this is what I heard. Did you hear this? Did you hear this? Just like the latest one, that there was a sighting at a Walmart. I believe it was in Georgia. Correct me if I'm wrong, chat. I believe it was in Georgia that let's not call law enforcement. Let's call into a YouTube channel. Because that makes complete fucking sense, right? Call into a YouTube channel. Don't call law enforcement. You know, a 15-year-old child that could be in danger, by all means, call YouTube. Don't call a police officer. Several of them are. And you're fine. You're not late. One shot says, just look at the Charlie Allison case. It took 8 years for him to be arrested. FBI and FLLE kept quiet about the phone tag, stings, etc. over those years, so they gathered enough proof to be arrested. Exactly. If law enforcement started a YouTube channel and came out every day and went live 3 or 4 times a day and said, well, this is what we're doing, this is what we're doing, this is who we're searching, this is what we're doing. Let's look at it like this. And this is not, I'm not speaking this into existence for Sebastian. Let's look at it like this. Child's abducted. All the information gets put out into social media, into the public, right? The abductor hears that information, gets scared. So these are the scenarios of what could possibly happen. That person's going to run with the child, or that person's going to do something nefarious to that child. Guess what? They're never found. or they're found in a shallow grave, because it all got put out there. Like the way Holmes says, I'm honestly frustrated with people covering Sebastian's case. I've been doing cold case. Big channels could help a lot with cold cases. Absolutely. Absolutely. PJ, if you haven't seen, it's not a cold case, but I've actually been, for a few months now, working with Joe on Surviving the Survivor. We were discussing, because he's worked closely with Ellen Greenberg's family and getting her a billboard up. Had Arctic and Pointer Lover and Kimber and Mecky and, people that have donated to keep her billboard up and running. Because how many times do we hear people talk about her case? It has meat and potatoes. It's got everything that needs, that you need to be able to get clicks and views on YouTube. But yet they would rather run a missing child's case into the ground than they would talk about something that might possibly help. It is truly disgusting and disrespectful, right? Arctic does amazing. Rumors, innuendos, bad speculations, gossip, and they can ruin many situations. When someone tells you what you're doing in your own home is wrong, and without knowledge, you get it pretty fed up. Absolutely. Southern Girl says she feels the same way. She stays away from big cases and cover the ones that need more attention. Southern Girl does great work on the cold cases. God forbid it ever happens to me, but if it did, I would stay as far away from social media as I could possibly. I know, I lurk on your channel, Arctic. It's awesome. Arctic is amazing. Arctic does some great work. Why are people calling YouTubers? Let me tell you why people are calling YouTubers. Because you have these asshat YouTubers that are putting out, oh, if you don't feel comfortable calling law enforcement, you can email me and you can call me. And if you have tips, then just call right on into this channel. That's why. Another good example is Delphi. Look how long Ellie sat on their cards while building a case. Absolutely. Absolutely. And look how that case is, just turned into a complete shitstorm on YouTube. Not the case itself, but on YouTube. It is a whole shitstorm. And not only do you have YouTubers that, and I've said this in the past, y'all, that are being subpoenaed to come to court. Because when you insert yourself in one of these cases, and that's what these idiots are doing, is inserting themselves into a case, be ready for a subpoena. Be ready for a subpoena. Because it very well may happen to you. You might have an officer knocking on your door. Hey, you need to be in court Monday. I love SCS. I love Joe. He's awesome. He's an amazing person. Said, oh, nice. I didn't see that. Yeah. Cases like that need attention too. Ones get zero media. Absolutely. Joe is a wonderful person. He is amazing. Arctic says, what pisses me off is more than anything is the last week I've had at least 4 Amber Alerts, one of which was a 1-year-old, a rapist murder, and couldn't be bothered to cover those. Instead, they're doing their 999th live on Sebastian. Right. Right. And I believe that's the one you put in Discord. I grabbed it and posted it on my Twitter. And then Victoria, one of our beautiful subs here, sent me another flyer last night when I was on Doggo's panel of a missing gentleman. And I shared him on Twitter too. And I tagged Steve in it. So hopefully Steve will be able to. Sorry, guys. The wind, it's a little windy. I think my blood pressure was so high last night. Guys, I smoked half-pack cigarettes in that few hours I was on that panel. I saw Chloe post on Twitter yesterday that she was going on Whip Sluice, and I thought, oh, well, freaking amazing. And when Heather had went on to Joel's channel, you know, for those of you that were in the chat saw that I was in that chat, and some of the information that she was putting out, I didn't like either the way, I don't know if it was the way she was wording things or just some of the information that she was putting out didn't set well in my guts. And I'm always respectful in that chat, and I was still respectful, but I did make sure that I put my comments in there. So I know nothing about this girl. I think she follows me on Twitter, but other than that, I know nothing about her. Never even heard her name before, like, I don't know, a week and a half ago. The only thing I'd seen Chloe share was a few pictures of where she was up there searching, and one of them she was crossing like a creek and slipped on a rock, and you know, and then post with Sebastian's photos on there and just keeping his name out in front. I personally did not realize that she was working hand in hand with Seth. And I'm going to put something else out there that's just my Steve SF Investigates. Yes. Yeah, Steve SF Investigates. Steve is awesome. Steve is an amazing human being, and I love Steve dearly, dearly, dearly. When my son went to, which I've worked with Steve on many cases, but when my son went to Nashville to help search for Riley, I have over 100 pictures of security cameras that my daughter-in-law took that were privately sent to Steve and have never been put out on my channel. Because that's what you do if you're going to help with a missing case. And if you have somebody, whether it's yourself or family or a friend or somebody, go boots on the ground, is everything doesn't need to be put on friggin' YouTube. Everything does not need to be put on YouTube. Says you couldn't watch all of it. I was so disappointed in Trisha. Yeah. I had nothing but the utmost respect for her. I've always lurked in her bushes for many years now. I've lurked in her bushes. When she had Bethany, Vladek's sister, on panel, I was in chat because Bethany was trying to answer questions and correct information, and I was trying to help, you know, in chat correcting. Buddy Roo, buddy, hang on a second, guys. Buddy, are you asleep? Hey, are you asleep? What the hell? Sorry, guys, I've got my mom's dog, and as many of you guys know, I lost my mom years and years ago, and he's laying out here in the yard. Oh, my Lord. Sorry about that. I almost had a panic attack. Let's see. Cooking dinner and listening. What you cooking? Thanks, Arctic. I only knew the name from Karen Reed case and was a little leery. Maybe I wasn't getting good info on him. I guess that was Karen Reed. I don't know. I might be wrong on that. Love Doggo. I love seeing you on his YouTube channel. Your mods are great on this channel as well. Thank you, Vicky. I appreciate it. He's not everybody's cup of tea, but he is a damn good at what he does and does it with integrity. Absolutely. I love Steve. Like, Steve is phenomenal. I absolutely love Steve. Steve has done a lot of really good work. Like, just for instance, in Harmony's case, he went up there and drove around, and he's worked with law enforcement in the background and done some other things. And, you know, I mean, he has the best heart of a private investigator that I've ever personally dealt with. Shepherd's pie, that sounds good. Yeah, I thought my dogs were crying. Oh, I'm sorry, honey. But back to Trisha. You know, I've had nothing but respect for her because Bethany was on her panel, and I think she did such a phenomenal job with interviewing Bethany and the other sister. And he's got a couple of sisters. I don't honestly remember which one was up there. I'd have to pull up the live and watch the live again. But either way. And then what I saw last night absolutely turned my stomach. It absolutely turned my stomach. Yes, I believe, in my personal opinion, Kylie Rodney. Okay. Arctic Fox, that's good to know. Sometimes we get the wrong side of info. Minds are made up way. Right. Kylie Rodney. Sorry. You're fine. You said KR and that. My bad, SRB. Yeah, Kylie Rodney case. Chris has every right to be pissed off. And as a good man, he did what a good man should do and has been doing, which is be there for his wife. And to be a protector of his wife. So, the channels that I was able to see this morning that went live, I didn't go in none of their chats, just thumbnails and titles alone. Oh, tempers flared. Well, what the hell do you expect? What the hell do you expect when some ex freaking girlfriend, wife, whatever the hell she was, went on a YouTube channel? And yeah, I put this out there. I'm gonna say it again, with your freaking boobs hanging out, talking about a missing child, about shit that doesn't have anything to do with Sebastian's case and is not going to help bring him home. Breakups are bad. Breakups are breakups. Breakups are breakups. That's why two people that break up don't stay together, is because there's no meeting of the minds. She had no business, and this is my opinion, she had no business going onto a YouTube channel and putting her 2 cents in, because it did zero help. All it did was cause the pitchforks and the burning flaming torches to come out and go after the Proudfoots even more. Or Chris particularly. Because of a relationship, yes, they have a child together. But again, that doesn't have shit to do with bringing Sebastian home. Let's see. He busted his ass on Layla Santanto's case. That's really in gratitude by certain members of her family, and certain blonde bimbo with a bullhorn shading him every step of the way and lying on him and putting out misinformation and clickbait. And I get on my soapbox about that. Mind the Monsters, I was on Doggo's channel last night, and I'm glad to see you were on panel with him. We need more good people in the world like you that don't spread trash. Thank you so much, Vicky. I appreciate it. I just got through watching it. What a complete... See, I felt bad for Chris. He had every right to be angry, in my opinion. Absolutely. My opinion of the host last night was more than a bit one-sided. Once Seth was a top guest and Sebastian was placed on the side of the burner, as said, in my opinion. Absolutely. So it was... Seth comes up on panel, is asked one question, and magically loses signal. I've lived in Clarksville. I live in the sticks now, you guys. I'm outside on the freaking phone because if I go inside, my swamp signal is going to kick in. So I understand having shitty signal. 100%. But if he plays online games, he's probably got Wi-Fi. Turn your Wi-Fi on. Your signal gets a lot better. Because if I try to I've video, FaceTime, whatever the hell it's called, with the boys and my Wi-Fi is not on, it's going to turn into a complete dumpster fire. Nope, I wasn't impressed with Nina coming out at all. No, right. The whole Nina thing was staged. And Arctic's opinion, in my opinion, too. I think his name's Trev Time, but I believe from what I've heard, he's took a break from YouTube. And I've never been in his channel. I will be 110% honest. A lot of channels that only focused on Summer Wells, I don't go in those channels because I can't handle the drama and the mob and the mod mentality. I can't do it because it pisses me off. And I can't handle it. So I've never been in his chat. However, I have interacted with him on Facebook. And I don't remember exactly what the whole conversation was about, but it was something about Tennessee law enforcement. And I got heated because he was talking about something about the TBI, and I was telling him how they don't have a good track record and they don't have a good history. And for many of y'all that know, I have the series, What the Hell's Going On in Tennessee, which is all Tennessee families that have fought for years to get justice or have their missing persons case heard. And the 13th District, DA Dunaway, can't be bothered to do his damn job. And one of my families that's actually, and I'm not going to use her name on here because she's not ready to come on YouTube. She's been on mainstream media and in the newspaper, but I'm not going to use her name on here. Her father is the very first very first case after the TBI became the TBI that is a shitstorm. And she actually commented on the post between me and Trev. So there's that. But I understand wanting to grow your channel. But if you're going to grow your channel, do it with integrity and do it the correct way. Don't be a dirtbag. And I'm not taking shots at Trev or whatever the hell his name is. I think it's Trev because there's Trev and then T-Rev. But Trev, I'm not taking shots at him at all. Not taking shots at him at all. But I can't personally watch channels that only focus on Summer when there's so many other cases that needed coverage when she first become missing. Yeah, it was on Web Sleuth last night if you're asking about the Seth doesn't seem to have Wi-Fi problems when he's on a channel. Good point. Never had any issues when he was on his grand tour every night of the Tragedy Pimp YouTube. Exactly. I agree. Like I said last night, Chris had every right to be pissed off, and Seth went on another YouTube channel running his mouth about the poor, pitiful self and trash talk, and I didn't see where he was at. He went on another panel last night after Web Sleuth. I heard that he was on T-Rev, which is the guy that used to be a friend of Ryan Up Church or something. I don't know. He's a music artist. When he very first started his channel, I actually went on his panel one night to talk about a case. And I didn't stay up there very long. And then the next thing I knew, he started covering Kylie Rodney, ended up on News Nation. And if you guys haven't seen that interview, it's worth a good laugh to watch that. Because I think he had a shirt. I don't remember what kind of shirt it was, but he had some goofy ass looking hat on. And yes, he's clickbait. 100% clickbait. I know he was in the chat. Did he go on panel, y'all? I'm going to run a video real quick and go. And I'm going to run my missing video. And I'm going to go in and grab my smokes. I'll be right back. No, ma'am. I'm coming right back. Come on. You coming? Come on. Come on, man. Come on. All right, guys. Sorry about that. Let me get back over here to comments. Okay. Let's make sure I didn't miss anybody. So, it felt like a lot of the questions that were being asked last night were not any of the public's information. And, you know, Chloe had mentioned that local law enforcement had not released the missing persons report to her. Law enforcement's not required to release anything to a private detective. I don't give a damn if you're licensed or not. But I will say this. If you have a good rapport with that local law enforcement, there's a 99.9% chance that you're going to get the information that you're requesting released to you. So there's that. The having Chris come on panel, or Chris coming on panel to defend himself, I have nothing but respect for the man. Because like he said, shit that's happened in their past, shit that's happened in Katie's past is past. It doesn't have a damn thing to do with the fact that Sebastian's missing. Whatever she did when she was 19 years old is her damn business. People grow, people change. Life changes, people change. When you have kids, a lot changes. Seth going on that panel and acting the way he did, and Trisha interrupting Chris to let Seth speak was the rudest thing I think I've ever witnessed on her channel. If you've ever been on a panel, overspeaking does happen. But Chris took it upon himself to go up there first. He should have been able to speak and say what he wanted to say. Then Seth comes up there and it's, oh, wait a minute. Hold up. Chris, stop talking. Let's let Seth talk. Okay. My personal opinion, it was extremely fucking rude. It was extremely rude and unprofessional. And then not only that, Seth mumbles under his breath, a lot louder than under his breath, about a rumor. Okay. So if I put all the rumors out that I get emails and messages about, my channel would be just as bad as these damn clickbait channels. Here's the deal. Seth's upset because Ellie allegedly isn't telling him anything. That never crossed his mind that they aren't telling him things because he keeps running his mouth on YouTube. That's very possible. That's very possible. And if you take another possibility into effect is, do we know if he is a custodial parent? I understand he's a biological father, but does he have paperwork that shows they have shared custody? Because if I'm thinking correctly, if Katie has full custody and control of Sebastian, then law enforcement doesn't owe Seth shit. They don't have to tell him anything. Yes, T Rev's channel, but I checked late this morning and it looked like he took the video down. Wow. Yeah, over and over. Hi, Eric, Alex. Welcome in, Allie. Thank you for being here, honey. They favor Seth, although Sebastian didn't live there, right? The only past of a parent of a missing child that should come under consideration is if they have been arrested for child abuse or SA. Exactly. That part. Absolutely that part. If you guys are not subbed up to Allie, make sure you sub up to her. She's awesome. She does a lot of missing cases updates. She has some phenomenal footage and phone calls and just great things on Gannon. I mean, just very, very good person, incredible creator. Much love. Me Too Chris definitely showed that is a man of childhood. Me Too Chris definitely showed that he is a man and not childish acting. In my opinion, it was very respectful. I think so too, considering his temper and how pissed off he was. And I'd be pissed off too. I'm pissed off right now. I don't believe Seth really has good information on Sebastian, mostly because he wasn't 24/7 in his life. Absolutely. Much love, Allie. You're awesome. But thank you. She's in Nightbot, but I'm not at the computer, and I think it's exclamation Allie, but it might be Alex. Seth mentioning a rumor about Chris's parents having Sebastian was disgusting. How many rumors have we seen that Seth's parents have Sebastian? How many rumors and people have we seen? Not necessarily rumors, I'm going to reword that. How many idiots have we seen go on Facebook and state as a fact that they either know where this child is, or the asshole that said he has him and he wants ransom to give him up? In my opinion, that guy's IP address should have been pulled, and he should have been promptly arrested for infringing on the missing child's case. That's my opinion. Yeah, I was floored too. What the hell was that? A pissing match? Because that's what it sounded like. And then you had, yeah, the $100. Right. Yep, $100, dude. Dumbass. Straight up dumbass. Ought to have been ashamed of himself. Herself, whoever it was. And the person that put out the divorce paperwork on Facebook should be ashamed of themselves as well. And they were apparently enough ashamed that it was put out as an anonymous post. There's 138 pages to that report. I have the link. It's like I think it's $128 for all pages. And you know what? I didn't FOIA request that because it's not going to help bring Sebastian home. Point blank simple. It's not going to help bring him home. If I thought that it was going to help bring him home, I would think that law enforcement would have already made that public. And then you had people in chat saying that Katie was the one that released that anonymously on Facebook. I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think she did, and that's my opinion. Because why the hell would she release that? And then you have people, again, the pitchforks and flaming torches that are, oh, well, Seth's been out there searching and we've seen him out there searching. But we haven't seen Chris and Katie searching. Just because it ain't on YouTube and there's not pictures of it being fucking put out there doesn't mean they're not out there searching. It's just not any of your damn business. I was discussing, and the PI mentioned CB was discussing divorce before KP, before Sebastian went missing. How does he know if that was said after an argument years ago? His ex's information and stuff has nothing to do with Sebastian. Absolutely. Well, in my opinion, Chris and Katie need to file privacy complaints on every one of these tragedy pimp channels and get as many of their lives taken down. Sebastian doesn't need to see them when he comes home. Facts. Absolutely 100% facts. This is a 15-year-old child. And I go back to Austin's case. And Arctic is one of the creators, and I believe PJ had Sandra on panel too. When he came home, he went on a channel. And I guarantee he watched the YouTube channels that we had done about him when he was missing. I put money on it. The questions that were asked and answered last night, some of them was good information. Like we found out the reason that Sebastian didn't want to go to SES was he didn't want to be put in online school. That makes sense. Some kids don't do well in online school. And not only that, as a parent, when you have a child in online school like that, you have to be a teacher. You have to be a teacher. When the pandemic happened and Tater was still in school, I had to help him with math. I didn't do that kind of math when I was in school. Y'all, I'm old. I had to Google that shit to be able to help him. Exactly, Artie. Can you imagine what this will do with him? Poor Sebastian, he's lost it. Right. Dylan Ayers' parents went through the mill and ended up filing lawsuits to get certain sites shut down. It can be done, but how sad a parent of a missing child had to go through more stress. Exactly. Yes, I had Sandra on as well. It does help, but all we did was didn't give misinformation and went with the facts. Absolutely. And the facts is the only thing that should be released in these cases. If you're on YouTube, because your speculation doesn't help anything, and it just causes mob mentality. And then we see what we see now, where you have people that are, how do I word this? So we have people that have took took Seth and put him up on this pedestal to the fact that they're sending cash apps and Venmos and funding a GoFundMe and all this other crap. But how many of those people have printed flyers or shipped flyers across the United States to be hung? I have. How many people, hi Victoria, how many people have helped put money on a billboard that could help bring this child home, put his face in different parts of the United States? Or are they just worried about funding a cash app? That's where my heart goes. What are you looking for? What are you looking for? Look inside yourself and ask yourself, if this was your child, would you want funds going one-sided, or would you want funds going to something that could help bring the child home? Donate to law enforcement. Donate to NCMEC. Donate to something that's going to help. Just like in Madeline Soto's case. What did we see? We saw a GoFundMe that got put out. Madeline's found dead in the woods. What happens? Who the hell knows what happened to that money? Oh, that's right. There was an update put on the GoFundMe that said it was helping fund the family. We don't even know if the mom's a suspect. Well, we know she's a suspect. We don't even know if she was a part of his murder. So where does that leave people? You potentially donated to a murderer. And I'm not saying Seth's a murderer. I'm just saying, in that specific case, in Maddie's case, you donated to a GoFundMe that could possibly be funding somebody that murdered a child. Hope that makes sense. On a little bit of a rant. I'm not donating any money to Seth. And I haven't seen Chris and Katie put out a cash app. So I don't have anything to say on that side of it. I don't have anything to say on that side of it. I know there are shirts that have been made, and the funds from the shirts that are being made are going towards the funding of the billboard, is what I've been told in the background. And I actually have a sub that ordered me a shirt that's supposed to be coming. So if I get it, I'll share it with you guys. I'll actually wear it on a Sebastian Live when we're putting out credible information and sharing his face on this channel. But all this back and forth and all this drama is not going to help bring him home. It's not going to help bring him home. And if you're going to have a YouTube channel and you're going to cover these cases, do it respectfully. Because what if it was your missing person? I'll put it this way. So there's a channel that loves to use clickbait in their titles. Statement with a question mark behind it. First of all, proper English is learned in elementary school. Second of all, it's disgusting. Well, lo and behold, that person came out on Twitter, and I don't watch the channel anymore, so I don't know if it was put on the channel or not, that they had a loved one that was missing. Myself, I didn't share the tweet because I didn't know if it was bullshit or not. It could have been clickbait as far as I knew. It could have been a ploy for sympathy as far as I knew. Hi, Deets. Welcome in, honey. Because I had respect in the beginning when it was sharing cases. And then when that went into whole shitstorms of blaming a teenage child and all this nefarious and, put your tinfoil hats on. We're going down the street of darkness of who knows the conspiracy theories. I stopped watching because it's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting. And I'm so disappointed and heartbroken at what I saw last night. I was up till 3 o'clock this morning on Doggo's panel, and people are apologizing to me about Chloe. And like I said, you owe me no apology, because I was under the understanding that she was there for Sebastian. I was not under the understanding that she was working for Seth, because I feel like if you're a private detective, no matter which side of the family you have spoke to, you should be working for that specific side of the family. You should still be focusing on that missing person. I feel like Chris was very disrespected on the panel last night. I feel like it was very unprofessional, the way that he was treated. I can't reiterate how bad it pissed me off to hear him interrupted so Seth could speak when it was nothing that Seth had to say that was productive. Just like Chris mentioned that he didn't want strangers in his home. I don't blame him, because people are crazy. People are absolutely batshit crazy. These people had to leave their home and go to a campground to be able to breathe for a minute. And what do? You have a bunch of fucktards taking pictures of their camper. Well, what are they doing leaving the house? Well, did you ever think that possibly law enforcement knew that they left? Law enforcement knows more than we know, and that's why she felt comfortable leaving? Just saying. Vicky says Seth said last night on T Rev's channel that he had an attorney and there was no money in the accounts. I forget which one of the people he gave it to, but it was all about himself, really money. That's sick. That's absolutely sick. Like the boy that cried wolf, can't believe these channels are putting out. Exactly. And like I said, and I'm not taking shots at him directly. I'm just saying that with all the bullshit and the clickbait that he puts out, who knows? Who knows if it wasn't just a ploy for attention to bring more clicks and views and super chats? Deets is amazing, guys. If you guys are not subbed up to Deets, make sure you go sub up to Deets. She does some great work over there. Love you, girl. Thank you for coming in. I'm honored to have you in here anytime you pop in. I wouldn't donate any money to Seth either. I wouldn't even know how to do business online. Like YouTubers, family need to be very careful which PIs they get involved with. Tim Cherry taught us that much with Dylan. Exactly. Holy shit, Tim freaking Jim Terry. I can't even say his name right. I'm so freaking upset. That idiot. What was it? Let me see if I can think off the top of my head without going in here and get my notebook. We had Dylan's sexual preference that was put out there. We had all these other players that was put out there. We had information that was put out there. And then not only that, he wants to get into a pissing match with Candace, Dylan's mom, and and then it's a whole shit storm. And again, pitchforks and flaming torches. And you have him going up on different panels, and not only was he going up on different panels, he's self-promoting his cash apps and his funding while he's actively bashing the shit out of the family of the missing person. And I'm going to turn my camera back off, guys. I don't smoke on camera, so I'm still here. I'm a little fired up, so they can't eat without being scrutinized. Exactly. Because you have a missing child, mentally your world stops. Absolutely, mentally your world stops. But you still have to eat. You still have to try to sleep. You still have to try to function, because if you don't, you're going to explode. And the person that took a picture of them at Centerpoint that night should be ashamed of themselves. And I'm going to tell you, as soon as I saw the picture, I knew exactly where they were eating at, because it's my favorite restaurant in Hendersonville. Best damn barbecue you ever put in your mouth. It's a small family-owned little business on the side of the road off Vietnam Vets, I believe is where. I believe you come off Vietnam Vets. It might change from Vietnam Vets to a different street, but it's right there at the end of Vietnam Vets, which is an awful little highway off I-65. And like Chris said, the person that took the picture of them, did not take a picture of the stack of flyers that was sitting on the table where they were putting out flyers. Because if that person had taken a full picture of the flyers being on the table, that would have took away from their narrative. My question is, if they ended up being innocent, are people going to apologize? No, they're not going to apologize. Nope, they sure won't. In my personal opinion, you won't hear an apology. There will not be one of these tragedy pimp clickbaiting asshats that will apologize to that family. You can put money on it. Because to have to admit that they were wrong and they caused a wildfire might take away from their views, or they might have people unsub from their channel. So what they'll do is they'll move on to the next case and it'll never be spoke about again. And then you can guarantee that if somebody, one of us that are here, that are credible, that are for the right reasons, goes in their chats and mentions it, that comment's going to get deleted. Gen X Granny said, I can't imagine what him and Katie are going through. Where's the kind of humans dropping off casseroles and volunteering and putting out fires? Plenty of stalkers with an iPhone, though. Exactly. How many people have stopped by that house and left a bag of dog food? I do too much true crime, Gen X Granny, so I'd be sketchy about eating anybody's food, because in my mind, what if it's some weirdo that's going to do something to the food and then I'm going to pass out and they're going to take me and do terribly nasty things with me? Jim Terry doxed you. So what I did in the very beginning of my channel is I actually doxed myself, because I figured if I did that, then I wouldn't be interesting and people wouldn't try. I heard he was sneaking back around YouTube, but I haven't seen where. Oh, God, I hope not. Hi, Paige. Welcome in. We're talking about the pitchforks and flames that are put out against families of missing people, missing children, missing adults, with no credible background to go with it, and people's opinions. Thank you, honey. I was turned off of Says since he'd slip into chats or go on panel for a few minutes until his cash out was dropped and leave. One chat, he just came in and typed, "My arm is swollen." Wow. And as hateful as people are about them, no wonder they don't go to vigils. So that's another point. Thank you for bringing that up, because I'm on my soapbox, y'all. ADHD, I'm all over the place. So these people are getting death threats. They're being chased. They're having their picture taken. Their families are having their picture taken. They're getting videoed. Their house is getting drove by hundreds of times. What makes you think that they're going to feel comfortable going to a vigil? Not only that, you have a local preacher or reverend or whatever the hell he was that is out there holding up signs and a protest in a missing child's case. And that was a couple rant lives ago, if you guys didn't catch that one. That Chris needed to repent. Repent for what? What the hell you want the man to repent for? Like he said last night, his son is missing. His son is missing. And then the most, I believe my blood about bold, but, Trisha corrects him, your stepson. So I have a stepdaughter, but you know what? I don't call her a stepdaughter. You know why? Because she's not a set of stairs. She's my daughter. Nope, nobody apologized to Tyler and Brandy. Absolutely. And look, and they were drug all over the YouTube streets, all over Facebook, all over Twitter, to the point where there are people that were on Twitter that have either changed their names or you don't see them around anymore, that drug Brandy through the mud because emotions run high and she raised her voice to one of her children. Her kid was missing. Her son's still missing. And they were made out to be the most horrible people that you ever could imagine. But yet, she has went above and beyond. The woman was boots on the ground every day, going through fields looking for Michael. She had his face put on a semi-truck. She loves that child with every inch of her soul. And she kept hope for so long. Until, like Arctic put it earlier, some blonde bimbo with a bullhorn decided to put out information that was not the public's to know before his mother knew. Right, they'll just move on. It's gross. My heart can't cover speculate on cases. If I ever was in people's shoes, I wouldn't want all these accusations. Great tactic. I don't know what I did, SRB. True, good point. Even trust the neighborhood lasagna nowadays. Right. Yeah, but like I said, leave some dog food. Don't leave food because I ain't going to eat it. And I wouldn't blame her for not eating it with the way these people act. Of Mind of Monsters, I ended up doxing myself talking to WMR about Harmony, but Jim Terry went to the extreme. Wow. Yeah, people are wild. Is it normal for people to get gut feelings about some cases? I always keep the dingo mom in my mind. You can never be sure until the case is solved, right? You talking about the lady and it's viral, and I don't mean any disrespect, but the dingo ate my baby. Yeah. And like the little girl that I can't think of her name off the top of my head, guys. I'm so pissed off, and I'm not at my computer. But her parents went camping, and that was in Australia as well. It's a very well-known case. Australia 48 Hours covered her case, and the parents were run through the mud, and the guy that was either in the tent next to them or 2 tents over had abducted her, and she actually was found and brought home with a lot of therapy. Also, Mom sent you more pics of Kano. Thank you. It's so cute. And so little sausage. I have a sausage somewhere. I don't know where he went. Oh, he's in the house with his daddy. He's old. I thought stalking was illegal. It is illegal. Lighting the way home. Didn't Jim Terry work on Dylan Round's case? I know his name from somewhere. Yeah, that's where he worked. That protest was absolutely disgusting and uncalled for. It was. I've deleted threads modding towards them, nasty comments that get hung up on YouTube filters. Some are very unhinged people. Absolutely. Contrary to the certain creators' belief, I've never doxed anyone. Yeah. Arctic, you do great, honey. Yes, Paige. I used to be a Sleuth Mom's panel a lot, and she covered Dylan Rounds. Yep. Seth is promoting himself on these channels, and people are literally buying into that. In my opinion, con artists. P.S. I just watched and didn't comment. This was after Doggo's live at 3 a.m. Oh yeah, I went to sleep, guys. So being associated with her doxed all of her mods. Wow. See, you never go real life, guys. I think we're all pissed off after what went down last night and into the wee morning hours. Yep. I wouldn't eat either. Yeah, no, not eating anybody's food. Chloe Smith, thank you so much. One Shot, that was her name. Remember the other Madeline girl too. Yep. McCain, yep. That's another heartbreaking story. You didn't sleep after Doggo was live last night. I got on Twitter for a few minutes, and I ended up passing out, which I was tired. If y'all saw me on the panel last night, my eyes were like, because normally I sleep in on Saturdays, but yesterday we went to the Gator Farm, or we went to, we didn't end up going to the Gator Farm. We went to the Black Hammock, and got some footage of some gators and fed gators hot dogs and checked out the airboats. And then we ended up eating at the restaurant, which is phenomenal. If you're ever in this area and you like gator, it's the best family owned restaurant around to eat gator. And then by the time I got home and cleaned and did my daily task, I was exhausted. But when I saw Doggo live, I was like, oh, I'm going to jump up on panel. I was talking about other missing cases. And then it ended up that, he was waiting on Trisha to go live with Chloe on panel. And I don't think any of us realized what a shitstorm that was going to turn into. I know I didn't. I'm just so disgusted and disappointed. And the whole having a PR person, like I said last night, is when Katie and Chris first came out and did that first interview, Katie should have had a safe place across YouTube to be able to come out and speak and be her son's PR person. Because that interview was picked to pieces. And then you had Olivia go up there and do an interview in the house. That interview was picked to pieces. And then she went on the local news. That interview was picked to pieces. Well, hell no, I wouldn't want to come out and talk in public anymore either. Because you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. I can't wrap my mind around it. And, everybody went after law enforcement for stopping, for backing down the search. And then you had locals that were going up there searching. And then you had Jonathan that's up there searching live. Oh, my God. For God's sake, live. And what happens when you're searching for a child and that child's no longer with us and you're live and you catch the remains of that child on your live? Let me tell you what happens. It gets screenshotted. It gets put on Reddit. It gets put on Facebook. It gets put on Instagram. And it gets put on Twitter. Because what did we see in Madeline Soto's case? The sheriff put out a picture of her body on Instagram. I couldn't hang out for the whole live. I had to help take care of Mom and get some things done around the house. I watched replay on 2 times. Doggone Mexicula Jim. Love you, Ardit. People don't seem to know you're not going to remember every detail. Exactly, because emotions run high. So something that I remember today, remember the Logan Paul in the forest incident. I remember things today when my son was missing that if you had asked me during that time frame, I wouldn't have been able to tell you. But over time, things come back to you because your brain is running 1,000,000 miles an hour. And once you have a chance to sit down, and in my case, my son was found, you have a chance to sit down and process those thoughts, you're going to remember more things. You're going to remember small little details that you may not have immediately remembered. Just like in Duchess's live, she didn't mention the thud. On Nancy Grace, she mentioned the thud. Well, then that got took, and here we go, put tinfoil hats on, and we're running down conspiracy street with it. But people don't understand that those emotions run high. And that may have been something that was in the back of her mind because she's trying to remember every detail. She's trying to remember everything that was said. He was a cute little squirrel. I'll catch the rest of this on replay as supper is ready. Thanks for accepting my views and it was refreshing. Thank you, One Shot, for coming in. I hope you come back in. Tony, what's up? No, the police haven't given any updates. We're ranting about a shitstorm live that happened last night. That was practically a witch hunt. And guys, I'm not going to make this too terribly long because I do want people to replay this and to listen to my voice on what I think about attacking the family of a missing child, attacking the credibility of a family of a missing child, and the fact that if you're going to be a private investigator on a case that you're actively working, do not be biased in one side of the family or one other side of the family. You're there for the missing person. If you're going to be a YouTube creator and you cover one of these cases, cover the case respectfully, put out their name, put out their face. Do not put out misinformation, and don't fuel the fire. Well, I didn't know your son was missing, and I'm so thankful he was found. That was one of my comments last night. But after Katie settled down, that she would be remembering more details. Yeah, it was hard. It was a few years ago. It was bad. I'm talking about Sebastian's case, any case, but mainly the shitstorm that happened last night on his case with the PIs and Web Sleuth, and Chris having to come up and defend himself. And I would be pissed off too. So I completely understand why the man came in bull horns down. Tony said they can attack after they find the kid. The main objective is find it. Absolutely. Put all that shit on the back burner. None of it matters right now. None of the exes and the exes of exes and the neighbor that used to live down the road 10 years ago makes a shitting bit of difference. It doesn't make any difference. Because what makes a difference is the fact that he's missing. And the comment that was made about, well, you asked for the public's help and the public's gonna do everything they can. No, because asking for the public's help means share his face, share his name, share his story, share his flyers, and search if you can. Search if you will. It doesn't mean dig into these people's past and put their personal information out there. And the whole shit about, oh, well, there might have been an affair and there could have been this and there could have been that. And, their marriage was on the rocks. None of that's anybody's business. We don't know what that home dynamic was. We don't know exactly what was happening in that house because it's none of our damn business. It's none of our business. And, I saw people say, well, with a missing child, parents shouldn't be going on YouTube. So when your child goes missing or your loved one goes missing, News Nation doesn't reach out to you and say, hey, do you want to come on and talk about your missing person? They don't do that. Now, once they see YouTube's getting traction and YouTube's getting views, well, then that's when mainstream media wants to grab a hold of it. And that's where you start seeing that mainstream media starts covering the case because, they don't want to lose their view hours either. When we were asking for Ellie help, they were talking about searching, keeping eyes open. Exactly. If you see something, say something. Chris was unhinged in that interview and should have let the dogs on his property. It needs to be some. Chris was unhinged in that interview and he should let the dogs on his property ASAP. There needs to be some urgency there. The law enforcement dogs were there, Miranda. Law enforcement had their dogs there. What he was talking about was not letting these PIs and people that he doesn't know in his home, and I don't blame him with the threats that they've been getting. No, you're good, honey. Just like the other day when JLR was verbally attacking Karen Reed. If you're supposed to be an investigative reporter, you don't do that. Exactly. Hi, Amy. Exactly. You don't chase a woman down the damn sidewalk. Oh my God. Hollering and screaming. And I call it heckling, like how you go to the circus or you go to a fair and you got the guys that are there at the stands with the balloon popping where you take the darts and you pop the balloon and they're hollering, in my case, at my husband going, hey, for $5 you can buy 5 darts and win that lady a stuffed animal. That's what it reminds me of. That is absolutely what it reminds me of. And when Jonathan, I'm on the fence with him. Sometimes it seems like he's really in it for the for the right reasons, and then sometimes he just takes it way too far, and it ends up being a whole shitstorm. Um, Tony, I was angry, didn't know it was JLR the heckler. Yeah, it was JLR going at it with Turtle Boy, too. I think YouTube can be a vulnerable tool in missing parents, but also a double-edged sword. Once people like Slimy story time twist everything that's sad. Yeah, I don't have a high opinion of her, and I don't give two shits if it gets back to her. I have zero high opinion of her. When we put up the billboards for Summer Wells, her, Tiffany, Benny, and that whole Grifton crew decided that they wanted to call people scammers. Let me tell you something, honey. I work 40 hours a week and I have no reason to scam a damn person for a damn thing. And she wanted to throw a fit because Dutchie got the interview first and she didn't get the interview. Okay. First of all, that was childish and it's disgusting. And then second of all, you get the interview and now all you're doing is carrying pitchforks and burning torches at the family. So she ought to be ashamed of herself. I understand what Seth would like to bring dogs, and he shouldn't be hindered or have to wait weeks to get answers. Chris isn't even at the home. So if Seth wants dogs, then Seth needs to get with law enforcement. And I don't mean PIs, I mean law enforcement. And have law enforcement bring their dogs back in because they've already been in the house, but bring them back in to the house because it's not Seth's place to manage Katie and Chris's home. The last thing Chris should do, Seth's dog lady with the dogs was calling him out, calling him in a live chat live last night. I'm not sure what that was. Number one, pull report the story and don't become the story. Absolutely. But it brings views, Tony. It brings views. And I mean, in my personal opinion, if these PIs were in Tennessee and they're in Hendersonville, go there and knock on the door. I mean, all you got to do is watch YouTube. Miranda says, well, I'm out. We don't agree. The Proudfoot should be doing anything to find Sebastian. Miranda, that's fine. You don't have to stay here, honey. You're welcome to leave. And we can agree to disagree or you can leave. That's perfectly fine. But if it was my house and my ex-husband wanted to bring people in that I've never met and I've never spoke to, they're not coming in my house. And that's my opinion. And that's how I feel about it. If he has a job, go back to it, Victoria. Right. By becoming the story, take away from the reporting the actual story. Absolutely. These people have to put the shoe on the other foot. What if Sebastian had went missing from Seth's home? Would he allow Chris and Katie to bring in extra dogs to check at his home? Exactly. Exactly. Or do you think he would be a little hesitant to have people that he knows nothing about, that he's never communicated with, come in his home? You got to put it on the other foot. And this is where I'm saying the mob mentality. And this is where I said that you don't know these people's homes. You don't know their life. You don't know what goes on in their home. You don't know if there is a reason that they don't want strangers in their home. It could be 1,000 different reasons. You know, like my daughter, she has friends. She goes and spends the night at her friend's house. A couple of her friends come over here. She has one friend that her mom doesn't allow her to go to other people's houses because everybody has a different opinion of letting people in their home. And law enforcement's dogs have already been there. So there's no point in letting outside dogs come into a home months later. His scent's in the home. He lived there. Come on. Take the dogs and track around the area because his scent's in the home. I mean, you got to think about it rationally here. There's so many factors involved. I'm sure there are many death threats going on. There is. He said it on panel last night. They're getting death threats. I'm so thankful that you went live to clear up some of the shit that went down last night. God bless you. Thank you, honey. I appreciate it. To me, it's not even about the strangers. It's more about the fact the dogs have already been in the home multiple times. Exactly. Like I said, his scent is in the home. It's his home. Of course his scent's going to be in the damn home. Someone needs to wake up, Seth. Someone needs to wake up. Seth has his finger around them. That's incredibly rude and insensitive. Put your shoes in someone with a missing child. How sick they must feel inside. He'll go back to work when he's ready. He is on leave. Well, perfect. That's perfect, Miranda. And that's his prerogative whether or not he goes back to work. But because your child is missing, your life doesn't stop. Your bills don't stop. Your phone bill still has to be paid. Your lights still have to be paid. Myself personally, I still went to work. I took a couple of days off, but I still had to go to work because my life didn't stop. And I didn't have people on YouTube or a GoFundMe sending me cash apps. I still had to work because my life never stopped. Was I worried to death and sick and out of my mind? Absolutely, 100%. The dog lady was in chat saying Chris was lying about them item the dogs were giving for the scent. I called her out for muddying the waters and she said fact that she was Ellie. Well, first of all, I don't think law enforcement's going to be in a YouTube chat. Arctic says, Miranda, you're entitled to your opinion, but the one person is making money off Sebastian's disappearance and the one person that has passed the polygraph and is not Chris and Katie. Until the kid is found, everybody is a suspect. And even law enforcement said there is no foul play, but everything's still on the table. Of the parents are involved, lay off Chris and Katie if you're not going to call out Seth for his faults. Right. Like I said, Seth should have never brought up the pull-ups and the underwear. He should have never brought up Sebastian's trauma out of California. None of that is pertinent to finding him. All that is a pot shot at Katie to say, well, Katie, he was in Katie's care when this happened. My sister's autistic. She has accidents. But you don't see me on here streaming my sister's information and putting her out there. She's not missing, but still, that's personal information that's nobody's business and it's not going to help bring him home. Says dog expert. Okay. I agree, Mom. Many parents still work with their kids, have been missing for years. Yeah. The world doesn't stop because your kid's missing. Your bills don't stop. And in my mind, if you're able to go to work, then that kind of helps balance your brain where you're not just sitting and worrying. Because what else are you going to do? Sit there and beat yourself up? Or are you going to try to have some kind of normality in your life? Arctic Fox True Crime making money. People want to help him pay his bills and put money towards the refund, the reward fund, help pay for search costs, etc. He shouldn't be ashamed for that. Okay. So, again, dropping a cash app, pinning a cash app to the top of a chat is different than a reward fund. But I heard with my own ears and saw with my own eyes that Seth asked people to stop donating money to the reward fund because he had some words. And you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's what I saw and heard on a panel, was that it was asked to stop donating to the reward fund. Not all autistic children are the same. Absolutely no children are the same. Whether they're autistic or not, they're not the same. The first question would be, who benefits the most from him being gone? It's a good question. She actually did not listen to Chris. I went back to hear her again. She was wrong. Okay. So Chris and Katie had a GoFundMe and were dropped their Cash App and Venmo all over YouTube. It would be cool with that too, Miranda. Are you just here to be a hypocrite? Well, like I said, you have people that are in the mod and mob mentality that have been in certain channels for a really long time, and they're going to support that channel's opinion instead of forming their own opinion. And I'm blunt, so I'm probably coming off a little harsh, and I don't mean to be, Miranda, but I don't agree with personal gain from a missing child's case. Thank you, honey. Is there something going on with that reward fund? I just don't know what it is. Okay. I know it was, you guys correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought it was a local lawyer that had started handling the reward fund. And it was on Pascal. I'm not messed up with saying other channels. It was on one of Pascal's interviews where he said that he had a problem with the person that was handling the reward fund. And it's not crime online. It's shit. I've got one of their change purses in there where I went to an event. One of the Crime Stoppers. It's not Crime Stoppers, but one of those organizations. They actually fund a reward fund. They put out anywhere from $2,500 to $5,000. You just have to reach out to them and they'll put it out. Thank you, honey. The original reward is on the TBI page. Okay. All right, guys. I've been here for an hour and 38 minutes. I just wanted to put my 2 cents in on how disappointed I was in the way that took place last night. It was very disrespectful, in my opinion. And our place as the public, whether you're a YouTuber, a subscriber, an individual, a local, share his photo, share his flyers, share his name. And that's it. That's all we need to be doing. That's all we need to be doing. But guys, remember, if you see something, say something. It takes a village to raise a child. Never give up. If you've seen Sebastian Rogers, call 911. Call 1-800-TBI-FINE. Do not call a YouTuber. Don't do it. Don't call a YouTuber. Thank you all for being here on this Sunday afternoon with me and listening to me rant. I do try to stay respectful, and I appreciate everybody for being here and being respectful. As always, guys, I will catch y'all on the flip side.